those of you who follow me at all, those of you that are in Slamazon Bros, I encourage you to think about going on the next Scanner Monkey Cruise, whenever that will be. There's been no formal announcement yet, but my family and I, we just had a wonderful time. It was put on by Jay Bain, Cordelia Blake, Alex Mutt, who's a member of Scanner Monkey, used to work for Carnival. We just had a fantastic time. Those of you that are in the chat room that went, it was just a really good, relaxing vacation. And so I thought what I would do with this show is just talk about 5 things that I learned from the 100 Amazon sellers that were on that show. So I'm going to get into that in a little bit. I hope that everyone's sales are going well, right? We've all made it through Returnuary, what a lot of Amazon sellers like to call January. I got to share real quick a product that I was surprised I received a lot of returns on. In fact, the returns have been so painful, I may not ever buy this product again. So I'm very surprised that I've received this many returns on it. And I'm interested to see those of you who are in the chat room, if you've received any returns on it as well. So it was the Doc McStuffins Checkup Center. Now, I've probably sold over 75 units of these in the 3 years that I've been selling, and have never had like a high return rate on them. For some reason, though, I've sold about 35 of them in December, but I received like 10 back in returns. And these things are huge, right? They're the huge big box ones. You could buy them at Walmart on Black Friday. I think the price was either $20 or $30, and they were selling for like $100. So I received 10 of those bad boys back. And so I'm like kind of vowing that I'm not going to buy those next year if they go on sale. They sell great, but for some reason the returns hit me hard. Anybody in the chat, did any of you sell those Doc McStuffins Checkup Centers? And if you did sell them, did you get any returns back? If you could just, put something in the chat, that'd be great. That might help me make a more informed decision next year. Maybe I was just the unlucky one that received a lot of those returns back. So I might put that post in the Slamazon Bros Facebook group and see if anybody, because maybe I was just unlucky and everyone else had a lot of success. If that was the case, then I'll probably buy them again next year. So, but I don't complain about my Amazon returns, because my overall percentage throughout the year is still about 3%, which is really good. And, you and I both know that's why the Amazon customer base is growing, right? It's because people trust Amazon, will take anything back for any reason. And that's why Amazon continues to grow. And it probably is why it's what I think is the best retailer out there. So even though returns hurt, right, and especially because you sell so much in December, you get a lot in February, overall, it's a good thing because Amazon customers trust Amazon. My sales have started to climb in February. Last year, my sales climbed all the way up heading into Easter. So I encourage you to keep feeding the beast, right? Get your product into the warehouse. If you have product in your house, in your basement, in your garage, and you're putting off sending it in, get it in, right? When I first started, I always remember listening to different podcasts, and there would always be people that told me, hey, look, you are not making any money by holding product. And you're not making, sorry about that. I'm just looking at a Facebook message. You're not making any money by sitting on product, right? So make sure if you got product, get it in, right? Get it labeled up, get it in. Hit up those Walmarts that are clearancing stuff out. I've seen a number of posts now in different groups, right, with people that have loaded carts because Walmart is clearancing their toy section. They're clearancing other aisles. So, again, make sure now's the time really to get into RA if you haven't done it yet and really attack those stores, attack Target, attack Walmart, because most likely you'll be able to load your cart up great. So I see Curtis Batdorf is in the group. I don't know if any of you know Curtis. He is an amazing seller. I often say he is one of the best OA sourcers I've ever met. So thanks, Curtis, for hanging out. He's probably outsourcing right now. So definitely you want to get your boots on the ground and get in those stores, because there's some really good clearances going on right now. And there's lots of money to be made. If you're near those Walmarts that are closing, you want to get in those Walmarts, right? Attack those Walmarts that are closing the place down. Because again, there are a lot of sellers that are making a lot of money at those. So I'm going to share quickly, right, the 5 takeaways from the 100 amazing Amazon Scanner Monkey sellers I got to hang out with for the last 7 days. And a lot of you are in the chat room right now. Again, we just had a great time. It was a vacation. There weren't any seminars. There weren't any meetings. However, the conversations, right, that we had around breakfast or around the pool or at dinner or on the boat heading to the island where we were going to do an excursion, those conversations were priceless. And you'll hear a lot of people say this, in the different groups and probably in different business world, that the best part of conferences even isn't what happens like in the conference session. The best part of conferences is what happens when the conference ends at 5:00, right, in the evening. And when you just hang out, when you go to dinner with someone, when the conversation's a little more intimate, that's when you can really gain some great knowledge from other sellers. And for me, that's the joy of growing on a cruise like this. It's a vacation. If I don't want to talk about Amazon, I don't have to talk about Amazon. I brought my entire family. We had a blast. But if I want to talk about Amazon, which I do, I love talking about it. When you love something, it's not like work to talk about it, which again is why I love this business. I've had other jobs where I did not want to talk about them when I wasn't working. I didn't want anything. I didn't want to think about it because it was a painful experience. But Amazon for me doesn't feel like a job. Hopefully, if you're an Amazon seller, you experience that too. People talk about find something you're passionate about, something that you like, and then you won't have a job, right, for the rest of your life. For me, that's definitely how it's been. I just enjoy doing it. So talking with these sellers was really a great time for me. So these are the top 5 things, right, that I learned. The first one is this. The first one is community. Here's what I say. If you want to be successful as an e-commerce seller, then become part of a community with like-minded individuals. The cruise, like I said earlier, was put on by Scanner Monkey Facebook group. It started by Jay Bain, Cordelia Blake, who's in the chat room. She works for Scanner Monkey as well. Jay is one of the most positive guys I've ever met, and so is his community. So were the 100 sellers that went on that cruise. I didn't hear, now listen to this, 100 different people, I didn't hear one single complaint the entire 7 days, which that's a pretty amazing feat. When you bring 100 people together from all across the country, you expect that there is going to be at least one person who's unhappy with the beans at the buffet, or maybe who's unhappy with the way the cook flipped their omelet. You're going to hear little bits of that. But with this group, I didn't hear one single complaint. But that to me is a testament to the type of community that Jay and Cordelia have created at Scanner Monkey. It's very positive. And so, my first takeaway is that if you want to increase your sales, right, in the e-commerce business, then engage and become part of a community that is like-minded. And so I definitely saw that with a Scanner Monkey. They kind of have this attitude of don't worry, be happy. I like that attitude. I think that's probably a pretty good life motto. And so I saw that and I saw it modeled there. So I thought it was pretty cool. The community you and I choose, right, to be around, it matters. I know for me, I decided early on that I wanted to surround myself with Amazon sellers who looked at life and selling in a positive way. And I saw that demonstrated over and over again on the cruise. Nate and I have the same vision for Slamazon Bros. We want our community to be super encouraging to all sellers at all levels. If you haven't joined Slamazon Bros yet, I encourage you to do that. Look at the Facebook group, click add, and we will definitely get you in there. We want to be a community, right, that will help put you on your path to e-commerce success. I put community at the top of the list because I've experienced the power of it in my own business. I tell people all the time, the number one reason for my success has been people like Curtis Batdorf, who's in the chat room, who now he lives like 20 minutes away from me. Curtis reached out to me in a Facebook PM, and we just started talking. And now we get together on a monthly basis. And because of his positive and powerful influence on me, my business has grown. But that's because I saw who Curtis was. I saw that he's humble, which for me is like the number one thing when I'm looking to establish relationships, right? Or I'm looking for folks in a community. I want folks to be humble, who look out for the best interests of others more than their own interests. And that's what Curtis does. And so, I'm getting a little emotional here, but that's how much I believe in the power of relationships and community. So, don't just be a lurker, in the different Facebook groups. If you're in Slamazon Bros, answer questions, help people out. I promise you, you will get back 1,000,000 times more when you give, when you take time to answer other people's questions. You'll get back 1,000,000 times more than you give. I know that's how it's been for me. As I've sought to help people out, I get back 1,000,000 times more. So that's the first thing, is engage and look at community. And I appreciated that. And Jay, I don't know if Jay will watch this later, but I got a higher level of respect now for Jay after hanging out with him for 7 days. He just is this ultra positive guy. He's not going to get into any type of negativity. So I thought that was awesome. Second thing I learned was this, which I think goes along with it, is the power of mastermind groups and networking. Every seller I talked to, I would ask them to tell me a little bit about their business model and these and some of the things that they felt helped them be successful. And without fail, now listen to this, without fail, they pointed to the time that they started to network and form trusting relationships with other sellers. And so, people have talked about this before, but by being in smaller mastermind type groups with 6 or 7 other sellers, where you're able to share information more freely, you help each other source. And so when you have relationships with people you trust, you can share with them products, right, that maybe you hit on, but maybe they live in a different city, or maybe they live in a different state. And so having that free-flowing information and a trusting relationship, your sourcing opportunities are going to grow. And person after person that I talked to on that cruise that shared with me that said that was their number one reason that they've been able to increase their business, was they've got into these small mastermind trusting relationships with people. But that only works, right, if each member gives equal value. So if you're not in one of those groups, I encourage you to reach out to folks. And again, it's a bit of a testing relationship at first, right? But it's definitely worth it. And I saw that in the successful sellers that I talked to. Here's the third thing. The third thing I learned was establish a niche and really dominate that category and product. Every seller I talked to had at least 1 or 2 home run products. And the crazy part was this: they were products that I would never think about. So if you think that all the good products are too saturated, right, or there's nothing to sell on Amazon, you're kidding yourself. And you need to begin to talk to other sellers, because your mind will be opened up to the potential and possibilities of what you can sell on Amazon. Person after person, as I would talk to them and ask them and, probe, they would tell me products that I would never think about, that were farthest thing from my radar. And so, what I encourage you to do is take time each week and just study the Amazon categories. Take 2 hours, right, each week, and deep dive and look at what sells on Amazon. A lot of times we're so busy trying to find products to sell. What we really need to do is take a couple hours each week and study the platform that we're selling on. And if you take time, right, and deep dive in some of those categories, your eyes will be opened up to the possibilities of the things that you can source, right? So don't get so caught up of thinking, what can I sell? What can I sell? Go to Amazon themselves, right? And spend time on Amazon. Spend time combing through those categories, and your eyes will begin to be opened up, just like mine were as I talked to these sellers here. Don't just sell toys, right? That's easy. The sellers who I met who are really killing it, they found products that no one else is thinking about. Bring new products to the catalog. See what's selling in local stores, what's on the end caps, right? And if those aren't on Amazon, then create listings for those items. Look, if the stores have taken the time to put them on the end cap, then generally there's been research done that those are going to be good selling products. So if those aren't on Amazon yet, then take the time. Don't be lazy and say, oh, it's not in the catalog, I'm not going to create a listing. Create a listing for it, and you'll see that your business will start to grow as you begin to create listings. So the first thing is engage in community. Second thing is create trusting relationships, right, with other sellers. Form those masterminds. Deep dive, right, is the third thing I learned from the Amazon sellers. And the fourth thing is this. Man, the sellers I talk to, right, who are really doing well have supportive spouses or supportive family members, or who have friends that help them in their business. I noticed a big difference. The ones that I talked to that had spouses that support them, as opposed to the ones I talked to who are just kind of in this all by themselves, right? So I met a number of spouses who assist in the packing or the shipping, or they're taking care of their accounting. And I could see that having someone that was interested that close to them, it really gave them energy, I think, and is one of the reasons why they were successful. And so, like if you're a female, if you're married and your husband's not interested, I'm going to give you a clue here, right? How to get him interested. Tell him that you will have more sex with him if he would help you in some way in your Amazon business. Now, that may be unconventional, but I'm just being real with you, okay? As a man, right? That is the best way to get to my heart. Anytime my wife tells me that, I'm like, look, what do you want me to do, honey? I'm sorry. That's how men are wired. That's how I'm wired. Okay. And so, if you're a female and maybe you're a little discouraged, like you don't feel like your husband is interested, then give him value. Right. And I guarantee you, if that's one of the things, then most likely he'll get interested real fast. All right. So that's my little hidden tip for the day. Hopefully that doesn't offend anybody. But that definitely is truth. And I'm sure all the guys that are in the chat room will say amen to that. And if you're a dude, then figure out what your wife likes. If she likes going out to a nice meal, then take her that. If she likes flowers, then bring her flowers. Yeah, our housework, whatever it may be. That's a good one, Jessica. So, find what that is. And again, if it's not a spouse, then see if you can get your brother or sister involved. Or if you got a close friend, see if you can get her involved. The reason why I say this, I just saw that when when the sellers I talked to had someone that was involved, it gave them energy and it just gave them more excitement, right, about the business. There was one lady who brought her son on the trip. And so we were talking to her and her son was getting excited just talking to all the other Amazon sellers. And I could see that she was getting excited seeing her son get excited. And so it's just really an encouragement type thing. But if you don't have anybody, then I encourage you to think outside the box what you can do to try to get that type of encouragement, because I saw a difference with the sellers on the cruise that had that. Okay, and here's the fifth thing, and this show is going to go pretty fast today. The sellers who I met who are doing well have their eyes always open for the next opportunity. So they're always thinking sourcing, thinking if this product or that product could be a good selling product. They've not let their businesses become stale. They're trying to add additional ways to source besides RA and OA. They're consistent with getting product right into the Amazon warehouse. So many times that's the bottleneck for sellers like you and I. A lot of times we'll be good at sourcing and we'll pack our house up full of stuff, but then we don't on a consistent basis ship that stuff to Amazon. So there needs to be a rhythm, right, to our madness. There needs to be a method to our madness. If we're doing a lot of sourcing, we should be shipping out at least 2 days a week, right? Because again, that stuff, it's not making us any money if it's sitting in the house. But so the sellers, they have their eyes open, and I could just tell, even as they were talking to me, they kind of had a wonder of what the next product could be. So Karen, that's awesome. Karen was on the cruise and her daughter was there as well. And so she's thinking about helping out more. So cool. When you have a family member, right, or a close friend, I saw it there on the cruise. It definitely gives you energy. So those are the 5 quick things, right? Nate and I always want to keep our shows relatively short. But those are the 5 quick nuggets that I learned hanging out with over 100 amazing Amazon Scanner Monkey sellers. So like I said at the beginning, so John Grollo is here. John was one of the instrumental people who organized the cruise. Again, John is one of those guys who early on became part of my community. I reached out to John. I sent him numerous messages. I asked John if I could follow him around to source with him. And he agreed. And he lived in Florida. I'm here in central Pennsylvania. And so I scheduled a trip. And then I went on a cruise with John because I saw the information that John was putting out. I saw that he looked out for the interests of others more than he looked out for his own interests. And I knew that I wanted to get into an allegiance with John. So I'm going to give you my number 6 now. All right. This one, because John just joined. You want to be careful about who you create allegiances with, right? A lot of times we'll get into relationships with people that are unhealthy. They're unhealthy allegiances. And so I'm always thinking in my mind, I want to be in healthy relationships, and I want to have allegiances with people that I trust. And again, going back to what I said at the beginning, who are like-minded. And John was one of those guys. I could tell he's extremely transparent, extremely vulnerable, and he's not looking out for himself. He's looking out for the best interests of others. So that's my 6th tip is you want to get into allegiances, but always be wise about who you get into those allegiances with and the kind of people that they are. Okay, so those are the 5 quick things. I'm for sure going to be going on the Scanner Monkey 2 cruise whenever Cordelia, Jay, Alex, if he helps this time, or John, whenever they put that out, I will be there. Anybody, if you have any questions, I'll get to those real quick. I see Nettie's. I wouldn't pay for a mastermind. I think it works better if you develop the relationship naturally. I agree 100%. You cannot manufacture mastermind groups. They have to happen organically. That is a terrific word that you have there. Don't try to manufacture it. Now, what you can do is, again, if you're in Facebook groups and you're seeing people, posting, PM them, and you can really, as you start to chat with people, you can kind of get an idea, where they're coming from. And if you think it would be someone that you would be willing to get into a trusted relationship with, but that's a great way to do it. So, I see Nettie. So your answer was to this question: is there a way to pay for mastermind groups? Is that an option? Yeah, going back again to what Nettie said, the best way is just to engage people again. So like if you're in Slamazon Bros, I just encourage you to engage the members in that group, and follow those posts. And as you see people posting, send them PMs, and as you guys begin chatting back and forth, that's how those trusting relationships are going to start. It's amazing how much you can learn just from chatting with people. I've said it before, the chat on Facebook, it's a lot like the written word was back in the day when, in order to communicate to people, you had to write to them, right? And so there's a lot of good things that you could hear, and, you can kind of tell where people are coming from. So definitely do that. That's my encouragement to you, is if you're in those groups, you want to engage people. All right. Any other questions that we have in the group? All right. Well, if I don't see any, so hey, you guys, just so you know, we Nathan and I are still working. We're working on our course. We were going to actually put it out this week, but we're not now because we still want to make it better than what it already is. I know a lot of the newer sellers have been asking us, a lot of the new folks that have joined the group. So just know we're close to completing it. We think that it's going to be, an amazing program, that it'll really be able to jumpstart folks that are especially new to selling on Amazon. But we really want to make sure that it's right before we launch it. So just want to put that out there so you guys know that. Okay, so hey, look, that's all I have for today. Thank you all so much for joining me. Continue to feed the beast, continue to be out sourcing, right? Always be sourcing. We are in a great business, and I still say, and you guys know I say it all the time, I think that we are just getting started when it comes to selling on e-commerce. You and I have been the lucky ones, and we're getting in when it's just taken off. All right. So have a great rest of the day, you guys. Thanks a lot. This will be on recording. Hey, if you don't follow Nate and I yet, I encourage you follow us on Blab. Check out our other YouTube videos. If this is the first show you've watched, we have a lot of great YouTube videos. Hey, can I ask for a favor? Something that really helps us out is if you were to ever think about it, if you're on YouTube, you see some of our videos, if you just like let them play, you can mute it and let them play through. That's actually good for us. The more minutes that are played on YouTube, that's the way YouTube ranks videos. So I know that's something silly. But yeah, there is a place that we'll put it where you can rewatch it. You can always go to slamazonbros.com. That's where we put all of our videos, and that's where we put all of our shows. So that's slamazonbros.com. All of our past shows are there, and the show that we're doing today will be there as well. All right. Thanks a lot, you guys. I've taken up a half hour of your day already. I hope the information was helpful. Take care. I appreciate every single one of you. If you have any questions at all, please put them in the Facebook group. Thanks so much for those props. Look, I tell people I'm an affirmation junkie, right? And so props like that, I'm like a golden retriever. You know, when I hear stuff, man, it just makes me want to keep going, but I'm not, so because the show's over. All right. So thanks a lot, you guys. Have a great day.